Come on, it's all the way from Zion, all the way from Fredericksburg.
That's my mama.
Amen.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
All right. My name is Shanail Mo'nick. First, I want to give the honor to God, who is my Lord and Savior, who is the center of my life.
He sure
and
is.
I wouldn't be able to make it without him.
Yes.
And I also want to give an honor to my pastor,
Woo!
church,
Yes.
my beautiful daughter that's here. I give an honor to her. And I thank you so much, Pastor Sarita. Like you said, Pastor came to our church and she slang it through there. Oh my God, with so much power and dominion. She walked through there with an authority. And so I love that. And why I choose to win is I ain't got no choice. I don't have a choice but to win. My small testimony is a testimony of having to win. I didn't have a choice growing up. I grew up in North Carolina, a small family in the projects. My mom didn't live in the projects, but my grandma did. And as we all know, some of us are raised by our grandma. Because our mama is always working, trying to provide for us. And my mom had 2 jobs. So I always had to go to my granny's house to be able to be kept by my auntie, my grandma, my cousins, my uncles. Everybody was in grandma's house. Even grandma brought in the neighbors' kids, the kids off the street. She fed everybody off of a little $500 SSI check. Everybody ate. And everybody had somewhere to sleep in grandma's house.
Yes.
And so growing up there, you know, my family was on drugs. I didn't choose to, you know, participate. So they always used to say I thought I was better than that. Oh, I thought I was better than them. But it wasn't that I thought I was better. I just knew better.
Mm-hmm.
And because I watched them.
That's right.
And when I watched them, I seen everything that they did, and I was one of them, you know, called fast tail girls. I wasn't like them. I had to grow up real fast. Because if I didn't grow up fast, somebody else was going to be sending me out somewhere fast.
Come on.
And so I have to tell you that you have to learn in your environment, but you don't have to stay there.
Yes.
It doesn't make you who you are.
It doesn't.
It doesn't tell, that's not your destiny.
Yeah.
So I had to learn and grow up fast, and then I had a daughter because I was always running, trying to win, trying to get away from it, trying to go somewhere better, trying to do better. And I was always running and trying to survive, because if I would have stayed there, somebody would have put a blunt, laced it, or put some weed, or put some drink in my hand. So I never wanted to be in that area, in that environment. So I would always run out. And then I ran to my daughter's father, and I had a baby at 16 because he promised to protect me. He promised to be there for me. He promised to do all the things that I needed from my father that wasn't there.
Come on.
And so I tell you, you know, and that was my safe haven, him. He was protecting me, he was feeding me, he was making sure I was okay.
Yep.
And he ended up getting locked up and leaving me with a child at 16. And so I had to go out and get, like my mama, here go the thing, good 2 jobs to provide for my daughter. And growing up, it wasn't easy, but I always, Granny always was there for me. She didn't judge me. She didn't turn her back on me.
Yeah.
And she didn't call me names.
Yeah.
She always told me, Shanail, I want you to take me to church on Sunday, because I was the oldest granddaughter. And that was one of my ways of doing what she said. I didn't do the other things, but I did that thing. She took me to church. I took her to church every Sunday. And the women, I was still out there running. I kept running from what God had for me, because I knew he had something greater for me. And I ended up, and I'm going to be real, I was in a strip club. But every Sunday, I would come home from Saturday night, come home and be there to take my granny to church. And the women would look at me with the same clothes that I left the strip club in, and I went straight to church. I didn't care. I got my granny to church. And she was blind So I had to lead her, but she wasn't spiritually blind. And she seen the greater in me. She seen everything that I didn't see in myself. And so she continued to support me until her death. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you have a grandma, a mother, cherish them. Because they're not around to show these kids exactly what life is. What give them the wisdom. And I listened to everything. She taught me how to snap peas. She taught me how to cut fish and gut it. She taught me how to she taught me how to make cornbread from scratch. I'm just saying.
Don't forget she was blind
now.
now.
Wash them greens and put that salt on them. She taught me how to make sure my house in order and survive on $500 a month, and still didn't worry because she knew God provided. And I tell you. And then after having a baby, I ended up getting sick. And I got sick and diagnosed with lupus. They told me I had a 50-50 chance of living. They told me 3 times that I was going to die. There was nothing else that they can do for me. And they told me that, might as well say goodbye to my family. They called my family in and told my family, say goodbye right now. It's nothing else. We just don't let her lay here and die. And I told them right then, I accepted and surrendered to my Lord and Savior and told him I would serve him the rest of my life because I'm like the lady with the issue of the blood. I just wanted to touch his garment to be healed. And when I did that, he healed my body. So now I am actually, it's undetected. Lupus is undetected. They told me I would live past 5 years, and it's been over 8 years that I've been diagnosed with a deadly disease that can kill you instantly and take you out. And that's why I choose to win. I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice.
That's right, Mom.
My granny passed away. My auntie passed away in the next 2 months later. And at my granny funeral, I had to be the one to eulogize, not eulogize, but just to be the officiation of my granny and my auntie's funeral because none of my family knew the Lord. And at that time, my whole family got saved.
Yes.
My whole family got saved because of the path that I decided to walk. The path that I decided to surrender to God, that I was not going to be swayed, that I wasn't going to be like them, because if you're like them, you can't lead them.
That's right.
If you're like them, you
blind
can't
mice,
lead them.
no blind mice.
So I chose to be different, and I choose to win, and I ain't got no choice because I'm a winner.
Ah!